bro fist to you all. Welcome to Drama Friday. Because it's Friday, which means work and stuff is done, baby. It's all finished up. School's over, at least for most of us. And probably if you're watching this video, unless you're watching it from work, which hacks to your job, that allows you to get away with that. Well played, sirs. Well played indeed. I have a little announcement. So, this week I managed to piss off a lot of people. Unintentionally. Shouldn't have pissed anybody off, but it did. We had to talk about LFR. Always touchy. Started the video with saying, I know people will be pissed at this. Irrationally pissed off because the discussion cannot be had. Cannot be had. So, I pissed off both the, people in general. People who take some parts of the game way too seriously. Or, in fact, take World of Warcraft far too seriously. Indeed, threads popped up everywhere. But then it went too fucking far. So I do have to get a little serious on you for a moment. I'm used to the abuse. It's part of the job. I tend to accept it. I can't really do this job without having to deal with the very small minority of the immature and frustrated, bitter, nasty, and not really sure or aware of what their words do. Doesn't really bother me. Never has. Never has, honestly. And so it's no big deal. However, when you start making threats against my children, I do have to report you, unfortunately. I do have to report that to proper people. As much as I don't mind, I can't really... I can shoulder that burden. They shouldn't have to. And some of you did do that. Probably not people in this chat, so there you go. However, I do need to make an announcement for those of you in the chat, and those of you who do watch pretty regularly, is that I can't really allow my family to be part of this anymore. I can't really do that. Because, as I say, I shoulder that burden because it's part of the job. Right? We talk about video games, which tends to deal with a lot of young people, or just immature people in general, who get very, very angry and frustrated and nasty and all that kind of thing. They don't, and therefore they shouldn't have to deal with that. And so they won't. And that's pretty much it. So, as much as it was nice when the kids came on, and some of you liked it, some of you didn't. That's fair enough. It just won't be going forward. Because they don't have to deal with that shit. And I don't want to read it. So I prefer it if nobody cared or even thought about them in regards to me. It's generally the idea there. So hopefully that will go forward as being a thing. Alright, so there you go. Yeah, no more Lich Baby, no more Doom Baby. It's not fair to them. I know these kind of threats, which they were threats of the death kind, about LFR and random battlegrounds, are completely nonsensical and baseless in all ways, but I still don't want to read that. So we'll just have to take that part away, because they might read it one day, or they may see it, and they don't need to do that. So there we go. Alright? So, with that being said, which I did want to do at the beginning of the show, because most people tend to hear the end of the last drama story and turn the fuck off, we are going forward with Drama Friday, where we're going to talk about fun stuff, right? Let's have some fun stuff, considering everyone's been bitter. I don't even felt like making videos this week. I was like, fuck this. Fucking crazy bastards. But we're back on form, and I did make some videos today, which was very, very cool. I tormented myself by playing Dark Souls again, although I don't really like it. I don't know. It was the only thing I'd installed that I didn't want to do on stream. So, here we go! I've picked 4 stories today. I thought we'd kick off with something a little bit on the fun side, with drama on a role-playing realm. Drama on a role-playing realm, which is everything we want to see. It's RP Realm raiding. Which I'm just all up for. I'm invested. You send me a title like RP Realm raiding, then I'm in. I'm absolutely in. So it's all good. So we're going to do that. Now, there's no names so far. So we'll get to the names. And we'll see how it's going to go. All right? Okay, there is a couple of names that come up later on. I know who they are because I've read the story, so we can go with that. We need a wife. I know. We're going to the RP realm of raiding with a wife and a guildmaster. So we'll go with Toasted Duck. And who's going to be our wife? Our wifey wife for our journey through the craziness that is the internet. Who's got a ladyish name, or one that can be used in a ladyish way? Ginger Fury. You sound like my wife, so you shall do nicely. Ginger Fury. Excelente! The Ginger Fury will be our lady of today. And without further ado, let us begin celebrating that crazy world of the internet on the nice side. On the nice side of things. The drama time of the RP realm raiding. Put your feet up, friends. I don't have many people in my story, but here it is. This is my story of World of Warcraft. My story begins near the end of the Burning Crusade and ends at the dawn of Wrath of the Lich King. So it starts at the end of TBC and falls all apart by the end of by the beginning of Wrath of the Lich King. One of my friends at school kept talking about the game his brother was playing called WoW, being a great fan of Warcraft 3 and recognizing the name Warcraft. I was hooked by the name and begged him to show me this game, which sounded wonderful. That weekend after, I went to my friend's house to finally be able to see what he was talking about. He told me his brother was working that day and that since he knew the password, we could play all day long. Good news. Good news. He logged into his brother's account and I stared at that loading screen, amazed by the two great figures watching me with their green eyes, each powerful. This powerful being made my great hero Malfurion Stormrage himself look like a giant piece of leafy dog shit. He then took his own character. He said he was a human warrior, but I didn't hear him. My jaw dropped to the ground. Is he holding Deuce swords? Deuce? I said in awe in front of such great epicness. He said, yes, my warrior is a Fury warrior. He was already level 62 and was playing the Burning Crusade expansion. I looked at him controlling this hero of legends wearing two-handed katanas, slaying demons in the realm of Outland. After this afternoon, my resolve was even stronger than before, that I shall play World of Warcraft. Back home, I begged my parents to buy the game. Since I wasn't asking for much compared to my siblings, they agreed fairly quickly and bought it for me as the TBC expansion and a legendary story that was presented to me during the Warcraft 3. It is then that I knew I had to play. I had to be like Uther, the Lightbringer. I had to slay the restless scourge in the name of Lordaeron and purify the hordes of orc scum by the holy light. My first character, of course, then, was to be a human paladin. At the time, I was but a spoiled little 14-year-old scrublord, like so many of us were. Me and my friend, who didn't know much of the game because even though he was level 62, it turned out his brother has actually leveled his character for him. Most of his character before being bored and giving it to him. Needless to say, we did what we thought was best and quested. Barely doing any dungeons except the Stormwind Stockades! And wearing intellect gear as rep pallies or agility as a warrior. It was good times. We struggled like many at first. We quickly picked up the pace of the game and learnt a few things thanks to my friend's older brother who was, in his own words, a hardcore raider. He showed us a raid once and explained that it was the pinnacle of endgame content. We thought raiding was a privilege few were worthy of owning. My friend didn't care much about this, but I, on the other hand, I had to be one of them. A hardcore raider. I started playing without my friend, logging in as often as I could to reach 70 as fast as possible, for I had only one goal in the game. Illidan Stormrage, the betrayer, must fall. One night, after leveling in the Blasted Lands and finally reaching level 58, I was eager to enter the Dark Portal. I would behold it every time I logged in. It is then that I saw a host of mounted players running out of it. There were so many of them. Intrigued to see what players were doing going in the same direction I would follow. Truth be told, I thought they all looked way too badass to be some lowly level 60s such as myself, and I could not comprehend what they would come back to Azeroth for. They could be in Outland doing all kinds of badass stuff. I followed them until we reached a tower in a grisly area of Deadwind Pass. I already saw this zone before, but I did not explore it as I had no quests there, and the zone made me feel uneasy as I travelled through it. I decided I would whisper one of them, asking questions like, why? Why would you come here? Why wouldn't you be in Outland? Who are you? He replied, we are righteous crusaders, sent here by the great Adal himself. We come here to slay the hallowed ghosts of the past that prowl in the household of the last guardian, Medivh. This was, of course, an RP realm. I had no idea what the fuck this guy was saying and asked, is this a raid? Why is there a level 70 raid in the Eastern Kingdoms? He replied, I do not understand what you say, fellow knight. If you wish to know more about us and our task, ask our Lord Commander. He will give you the answers you seek. He then whispered me, OC, talk to the GM if you want to join the guild and learn more about RP. We've got a lovely bunch of guys and we'd be really happy for you to get involved. Alright? Now on with you, sir! A few weeks into the future, I eventually joined this guild. They were casually raiding on the side, but RP'd a lot. This suited my goals perfectly. I had finally joined a raiding guild. And I could use them to reach the brother of Malfurion himself. I quickly became quite fond of RP and created my own little backstory, being a badass paladin. When I reached level cap, they wanted me to respec to prot, but since RP was so important to them, I quickly declined and explained why I would remain a ret paladin. My goal as a paladin, according to my backstory, was to bring righteous retribution to the enemy and burn them by the fires of the holy light, not protect my fellow knights while doing so. After all, in order to bring righteous retribution, one needs to be retribution spec. Owned, raid leader. Owned. Fight that, motherfucker. The GM, Toasted Duck, liked me quite a lot and was also part of the core RPers of the guild. And so he agreed. Well, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Thank you for your concise answers, knight. Retribution you shall be. On the other hand, the co-GM, his wife, Ginger Fury, was furious. They needed a tank. Ret paladins are shit. And that was her argument. Yes, I understand what you're saying. However, we need a tank to raid, and Ret's shit right now. It's dog shit. It's really bad. No. Listen to what I'm saying. It's really bad. Really, really bad. This is the TBC, but Shadow Priest got all the love. You got the small balls. Sorry, Ret. Get fucked. Obviously, Ginger Fury was the voice of the raiding part of the guild. Because of this conflict, my raiding career was delayed quite a bit, as although the GM agreed, he wasn't in charge of raid invites. That would in fact be Ginger Fury, and she never invited me to the raid groups, and preferred to invite random people from trade chat rather than waste gear on a useless fucking ret paladin. I was in despair. How could I ever attain my goal with shitty gear? How could I ever hope to defeat the betrayer himself? It was then that salvation finally fell upon me. Sunwell Plateau was released. Still not done Karazhan. A new raid in which we were to fight off one of the leaders of the Burning Legion. This was to be Kil'jaeden himself. Lacking a good number of players in Team 2, they finally had no choice but to give me a Karazhan run. I was quite sad that I would never face the betrayer, but I was more ecstatic to face Kil'jaeden and the horrors he brought with him. After a while, my gear was deemed acceptable by the officer in charge of new members, and I was placed in the coveted role, ladies and gentlemen, of tryouts for Team 2. Nailed it. I was so nervous, for the raid leader was going to be Ginger Fury. And even after all this time, she despised me for being such a dick about respecking. Nothing could have prepared me for what came after this point. I was the least geared player in the raid. And Toasted Duck told his wife I would have loot priority, since most of the other members already had the gear from the first few bosses. I was never informed of this, and as we were raiding, I never touched a single item in Sunwell Plateau. Although I had loot priority, not being told I had it, and knowing that I probably wouldn't get it due to past experience with Ginger Fury, I just didn't bother. It was then that Ginger Fury started to complain about my DPS as well as my skills. Ranting about it in guild chat all the time. She would often whisper me after wipes saying that wipe was your fucking fault, Paladin. According to her, we were wiping because I was 1. Incompetent, 2. Didn't care about the guild, and 3. Didn't care to learn mechanics of the fight. She said I should delete the game. Leave the guild, never to return. It went on for a month. After that, she had me kicked, and I failed to join Team 2. Because I quote, I was, in her words, a fucking retarded kid with no skill whatsoever. My DPS was also utter shit, and I was causing wipes on purpose by not rolling on gear. Toasted Duck was pretty pissed about this, but allowed me to stay in the guild and remain mostly silent about Ginger Fury's decision, because he was responsible for RP and she was responsible for raids. I was destroyed! After a time, Toasted Duck learned the truth and told me the whole story, asking, do I want another chance to be a tryout for Team 2? But it was too late for me. I had lost confidence. I left the guild, and I stopped playing for a while. After Wrath of the Lich King got released, I came back to WoW and switched to a Resto Druid, while still occasionally playing Ret on the side. I also found a new guild. We were the 4th best raiding guild of our server. Not much of an achievement considering it was an RP realm, but nonetheless I was happy. I even became an officer and was in charge of recruitment. During our tryouts for Ulduar, I got invited to a party by the other officer in charge of recruits. He wanted to make the decision because he had to leave IRL. He also said a priest had better healing. After joining the group, he named me party leader and left me to the matter of hand of looking at this priest. The raid was already over and the rest of the raid disbanded. Only the 2 healers and I remained. I asked them the obvious question, why do you want to join our guild? Before making my final decision to pick the priestesses. While they were explaining their reasons, my eye wandered around the names of the party members, to which I hadn't paid attention to as I was invited. I recognised the name of a certain Ginger Fury. I kicked her from that party. Threw an ignore her way! Congratulating our new paladin as I invited him to the guild. My GM later asked why I had taken that paladin over the priest, considering the priest was better. I told him my tale, and how I will always stand for the light. And we are better off without such toxicity in our guild. Thank you for reading. I fucking love when you RPers write me stories. Yes! Get involved, son! You RPers, show me the love, baby. Show me the love. Let's talk about Asian pussy. Now, it's about time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You gotta respect the light. Get ready. Get ready. Boom! Burst! That's what it's all about. Right, I need a southerner. An Asian girl. You what, mate? You what? And a separatist. Wow. A separatist. A separatist. Okay. He wants to be a redneck. Oh, we're going to do a redneck voice. It's going to fuck up. All I can think of is Dave Chappelle. It's the blind racist. So good. All right, let's pick... Toasted, don't you just had a go. Shut up. Come on. Shinso. Shinso rock in. Our Asian lady of today will be... Anybody with some sort of Dragon Ball Z-ish manga name? Oh, Sarah. And of course, famous manga name, Sarah. And our separatist, who's going to be the splitter? Splitter. Qualidan. 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 Qualidan shall be. Qualidan. You ready, team? Are you ready, team? Let me have a swiggles. Let me have a swiggles as we continue on our journey. The PvP Southerner, me, who really wants that PvE Asian e-pussy. Does Asian being relevant? We'll find out tonight. The racist door is open. Get ready. Hello, Preacher. I've been watching your videos non-stop since last month, and now I finally got off my lazy ass to write this story of one man's quest. One man! For the unattainable poon and the shit that happened in between. I was in a small guild that I was only allowed in because my friend was an officer, but he left when I had to leave when they couldn't finish Blackrock Normal. But while in the guild, I befriended a nice lad named Shinso. He was a nice guy who played a troll hunter and was no good troll hunters. That's fucking shenanigans. I was only interested in PvP, mate. We hung out a lot, sitting in trade chat, thinking we were hilarious in trade, making fun of the cunts on our server. Who was, in fact, a huge cunt. Being in trade chat. What joy. What joy. We sat in trade chat all day, making fun of everybody. It was the best. One day, standing in Warspear, though, some giant blood elf woman paladin started kicking footballs at me. It was really annoying. I didn't know her and I didn't want to. Stop throwing your balls at me, woman. Until my boy Shinso one day invited her to a raid. Turns out this girl was the dick kicking balls at me. She was nice enough. Her name was Sarah. A great healer and a fuck ton more geared than our shitty healers. I didn't really give a shit. But Shinso was definitely a fan in a week or two. It was us three hanging out and making fun of each other and often taking the piss out of Shinso's love for anime. Brackets, I am a great wingman. All was good. Apart from when the first of many fallouts happened. I can't remember what it was about since there's been so many. But Shinso and Sarah weren't talking. And I was to become Shinso's shoulder to talk on. Right? Because men don't cry, mate. PvPers don't cry. We talk. I need a shoulder to talk on, mate. So move yourself on over here. You know what I mean, mate? That time blew over, but then an event occurred that would change our holy trinity forever. Me and Shinso were dueling in Warspear like men. But after Shinso taunted the rest of the people in Warspear, saying shit like, I am fucking unbeatable, mate. It piqued the interest of Qualadan, a priest who to this day is the best PvP player I have ever seen, mate. He was playing a female character and there was much debate between me and my friend on whether he was truly a girl, as we had never spoke to him. Shinso was keen. He soon beat the shit out of me and Shinso. Qualadan invited the two of us to his Mumble server when he of his army of uber PvPers were caved. I was excited to join, but my friend said, fuck that, mate! As I had already told him that Qualadan was actually a guy. Not even interested, mate! Already a guy. Oh, a guy. Not even bothered, mate. Not even bothered. As fate had intended, soon, Qualadan, the uber PvPer, met Sarah. After watching me and him duel every night in between BGs, because we were just that fucking cool. I feel I should give you the abridged version, seeing as the next event spanned across the entirety of Warlords of Draenor. All five of us started running old raids every week, but soon the army buddy dropped off, and then there was another argument between Shinso. Shinso dropped out of our team as well. Soon it would be us three. Qualadan and Sarah really hit it off. And although I may be slightly antagonizing Qualadan, by the way, I have painted him, but he only wanted a friendship from the girl. Qualadan did not want to dip the wick. Now, since these boys have a Mumble, we started using it a lot. And one day we did invite Sarah to the server. She was silent and in fact never ever spoke to this day. I'm going to jump to the suspicious end. She never talked. No one wanted to ask her about the obvious because the conversation could get awkward as fuck. But our army buddy didn't give a shit about a lot of what we call social norms. And that's why I loved him. So instead of broaching the subject correctly, he invited her to Mumble and said, "Are you a girl?" Posts a video and left the chat. And Mr. Silence consumed the room. She just typed, yes. And that was that. Keep in mind, this entire paragraph is one-sided, as I only got Shinso opinion on it. Qualidan and his buddy faction changed to alliance, and Shinso started gearing up Sarah. She started to get good, and the two were a solid arena team of 2v2 PvP, mate. I was impressed that the two hadn't had an argument yet, and I was happy. They were happy, and the two who went ally kept asking us to come over. One day I logged on, and it had all gone fucking wrong. Sarah left to the allies to play with Qualidan. I thought fair play, mate, as she had a tune on Horde, and unlike me, a 15-year-old, she could afford faction changes. But Shinso was not amused. He went on a tirade about how he geared her only for her to leave for another man. About how she had abandoned him. So he wanted to get his revenge. And the only way he could think of doing it was to block us on Battle.net. Owned, mate! Owned me! Ugh. Blocked, mate. Blocked. He then went on to his Horde tune and tried to gank them at all possible moments. Unfortunately, as you remember though, Qualidan is way better at PvP. So he lost every single fucking time. You overpowered though, mate. Not even balanced though, mate. Owned, mate. Shinso was not quite dissuaded yet, though, and put it all on the line. He put it on the line, not to be outdone, put it on the line. He wrote a paragraph-long tweet and PMs to her asking me to do the scouting on how she felt about him in that way. Oh, tried to kill her, then tried to slip the wick. Yeah? PvP, mate. What he did there was parry, riposte. Yeah? Parry riposte me. Going in. Her usual reply when I asked her about us, he's fucking weird. But then he turned up the heat. She turned him down faster than a Goldshire scrub dies to a wolf. She was being nice to him. And now no one plays with us but Qualidan and Sarah. I guess we will be back for Legion, even though every time I try getting hyped, it's outweighed by the disappointment of WoD. By the way, I didn't want you to think I'm American, because that would make me sick. Wow. That's in the story. That's in the story. That's in the story. I was in Team Straya, just playing on North America, because that's where my friends were. And if you like that, I have more stories about pissing off the worst tank in the world and accidentally making a guy hate me. Hey, I'm going to prove it. Fuck that. Fuck that. I've had enough shit this week. No way. That's the story though, dude. Alright? Alright, bros, for real talk for a second, right? That wasn't me. I didn't say that. That's just insane. Team Australia, what are you doing? You're supposed to be nice people. You're supposed to be good people. You're supposed to be like Team Canada all day, right? I didn't do it. Wasn't me, though. Murica. Right. Let's troll a little bit. Let's have a troll. I need a DK and a Hunter. DK and a Hunter. DK. I need a good... Who's got a good DK name? Who's got a good DK name? Ninja Lord, close. Battleman. Best DK name ever. Battleman. DK. We're going to call it Battleman DK. Death. Battleman DK Death. Yeah. Who's got a good hunter name? Licky Pete. Licky Pete. Battleman DK Death. And Licky Pete. Licky Pete, mate. Licky Pete. My WoW enemies. But yeah, I've been following you for a while now, and I finally decided to write a drama story of my own. It's a short story about when me and my friend were leveling up 2 new characters in that Warlords of Draenor. I started playing in vanilla. Ooh, edgy, apparently. Not hard to say that anymore, mate. Yeah? Stop saying you played the game at a different time than I did. Dickhead, me. I've been playing. It's all the shit I've heard this week. I've started playing WoW Vanilla, and I've been playing since then with some breaks here and there. I can honestly say that I have never encountered so many weird, funny, and stupid people that I did when I was just leveling up this character. This whole drama started when we were doing dungeons. I was leveling a priest, and my friend was leveling a paladin. There are 2 other characters in this story. Oh, so we need another name. We need the friend. The friend gets mentioned. Okay, so we need a friend. Who was the last one? Charge Chock. Charge Chock? I'm just going to put charge. So as to not destroy the chat. The chat. Okay. Chapter 1 then. So me and my friend, Charge, were leveling. And we were doing a lot of dungeons at the time. So when the first part of the drama kicked in, we were in a dungeon. I can't remember which one it was, but it was somewhere between level 50 and 60. So, go ahead, and pick your dungeons. It was there that we met our first hero. A Worgen DK by the name of Battleman Death DK. And a hunter by the name of Licky Pete. Both Worgens. The dungeon went smoothly. Until the DK tank started going the wrong way. My friend, Charge, who was the healer, started getting annoyed as he knew that this was totally the wrong way and would not get us towards the boss. Wrong way! Charge said. There was no answer from Battleman DK, who continued to run his own way. Because DKs don't listen to you, mate. Charge said again, wrong way! You're going the wrong way. Dude, wrong way. This isn't Serpent Shrine Cavern. No, not so. What's that dungeon? With Lord Serpentis. That one. Oh, fuck. Whaley Caverns. My God. The nightmares of seeing a tank run the wrong way in Lord Serpentis in there. This made Battleman Death DK really angry. And he started to give shit to Charge, saying things like, I know the way around, mate. While still continuing to go the wrong way. Could be LBRS. Fuck you, he's blazing his own path. Leaving a trail of death and destruction along his way. I know the way. I recall that Battleman Death DK started saying a lot of stupid shit. And at one point, he continued to give abuse while turning around and coming back to the group. But of course, his hunter friend Licky Pete started to back him up, claiming they were not going the wrong way while running back towards us. Not going the wrong way, mate. Fucking noobs, mate. This way, dickheads. Whoa, I'm your death. Still not going the wrong way, though, you fucking dickheads. You coming then? One thing I'm not going to do is wrong, mate. I'm not wrong. Sometime after that, we did another dungeon. And to our surprise, probably because we were the same level, we ran into Battleman Death DK. And little Licky Pete again. We didn't think much of it as we started to do the dungeon. But once again, the same thing happened. Battleman Death DK went the wrong way again. Wrong way, Charge cried and told him that he was still going the wrong way. This time, though, Battleman Death DK became furious. And Charge said, it doesn't matter which way we go. This way leads to a secret extra boss. The argument broke out again. But eventually, we managed to finish the dungeon when they both turned around and came back. Secret extra boss though, mate. You're noobs. You don't even know. You gotta go this way. I don't know. Just because there's no enemies, it doesn't mean it's the wrong way, you fucking idiots. You stupid. Secret boss though. For chapter 2, though, the rage is real. The rage is real. At this point, I think that we were around level 76. And we were going into that Gundrak. You can't go wrong in Gundrak, can you? It's linear. Oh, no! You can. Across the lake. Or Nightmare. Nightmare. Wrath of the Lich King players, say it with me. Say it with me. People who ran to the wrong entrance when they were dead and ended up completely on the opposite side of the dungeon. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Fuck you, Blizz, for making 2 entrances that people didn't know which one was the one that we died in. Which side should we go in, though? Oh, no. Oh, no. I was really enjoying my priest at this point, and I had a lot of fun leveling it with my friend. I think it was after the first boss that I realised that Battleman, Death DK, and Licky Pete were the other members of our group. Me and my friend were wondering how long it would be before yet another argument broke out. But this time, Battleman Death DK went the right way in the dungeon. But he then started to complain that me and my friend were slacking and that he had ninja pulled, which we hadn't. In fact, we were behind him as both ranged classes. Oh, we told him to shut the fuck up and finish the dungeon for once. The argument broke out, and this time Battleman Death DK was so angry that he came up with a personal insult for my friend. He came up with the biggest insult of all time. It was so intense that we literally couldn't play anymore through laughter. Battleman Death DK thought that my friend's character name apparently rhymed with Pedo Bear, although it didn't. And so he came out with this to my friend. Oi! Charge! Are you Pedo Bear's cousin? What? 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 Oh! Burn, motherfucker! Burn! Me and my friend started laughing in Skype. And my friend could only reply with, sick joke, mate. 8 out of 8. My feelings is hurt. Battleman Death DK replied with, good. It was mostly Battleman Death DK and Charge who had the arguments, but it felt like Licky Pete knew that his friend, the DK, was an idiot. Ah. And tried to back him up despite knowing that he was a fucking idiot. By this time, even Licky Pete realised that Battleman Death DK had said something so stupid that he couldn't even try and defend him. I found it funny that there was another DPS in the group who didn't understand what the hell was going on. He didn't know the history between us. He just saw this bizarre argument and Pedo Bear being thrown around. So through the remaining part of Gundrak, he tried to keep a friendly atmosphere in the group so that we could finish the dungeon. He's that guy. Can everybody just calm down? All right? It's all getting a little bit heated in here. Can we all be friends now, huh? Come on. We all want to kill the boss. Let's eat up. I've brought a feast. Eat your feast. We'll get on and we'll go and have a good time. I love that guy. I love that guy. He's like, come on, guys. Let's just stop arguing. Be a good pal, and off we'll go. That was the end of my rage story. He put me on ignore and we never got to queue together again. Ah, I'm really excited about Legion. Keep up the good work. I'll do my best. Yeah, can we forget about this and finish this? Can we? I felt like he was Irish. He felt Irish to me. I like the idea that the piece is coming from the eye, right? I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty good. Let's go to our final story then. Oh, it's not very long. Maybe we'll have to sneak in a randomie, which is always a nightmare. I did promise I would never do that again, considering I let you guys involved. Right. It's such a shame. Well, I'm just going to let it happen. I'm just gonna let it unfold. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let it unfold. I need some ladies' names. It's not been a good day for the ladies. The ladies haven't written me any stories in the last couple of weeks. The ladies need to get back on it. So we'll have Lab Kitty. Lab Kitty. I'm typing in chat like a hero. Lab Kitty. And we'll go with something reasonably evil. We'll go with Hybrid girl. That'll do. Hybrid girl. That makes perfect sense for our tale. Right then. It's a tale of love. Love, love. Dun, dun, dun. Hello, Preacher and the Ballers. I don't exactly know how you want this story written, since I am new to your community. Welcome, sir. So I did try my best. That's all right. No one ever asks any more than trying your best. I figured, why not start off with the worst thing that has ever happened to me in my very long life of World of Warcraft. The worst thing that ever happened. It's very late at night where I live here in the US of A, America. So I do apologise for any grammatical errors I may make. This is a story of how my guild was stolen by my ex. But let me give a little, quickly, said past in WoW. I started playing Day 1 Vanilla, ooh, edgy, on Manaroth US, and being a prot warrior, like a man, and a hardcore raider, like a boss, from the day I hit 60, and the day I finished my Onyxia questline on Alliance side. I blame my brother and friends for playing Alliance, shudders, I know, no Tauren prot warriors, losers. After a few months into the TBC, the guild I was in fell apart on the Curator. That fucking Curator, though. You know who else can't kill the Curator? Nobble. Too many tactics, too many mechanics, too hard, too much HP, too much damage. Fucking Curator, man. Guild killer. Guild killer. Let's think about it for a moment. Group had to spread out, right? Tough stuff. Had to kill an orb. Pretty tough. And then kill him when he's weakened. It was tough stuff all round, boys. Tough stuff. I don't even know how we're going to fucking fight. How are we going to do this? How are we going to... Can someone do me a guide? Do me a guide. Curator. How do we do it? Menagerie. Guess only. Is it a clue? Is it? I don't know. Maybe. I remember. Okay. So I rerolled to a Horde Shaman on Medivh, USA. I ended the Burning Crusade with getting a pre-Wrath patch kill Jaden. Not too bad. Thanks to getting buddy with a good guy in a top guild. When Wrath released, though, the real fun started. I transferred over to Dawnbringer US and was the top gear DK on the realm during Ulduar. Get fucked, right? Diseases for days, mate. Armor penetration. Blood cleave. Into ICC 25, I brought back my shaman as enhancement for the guild my friend ran. And with a potato computer, still got top 10 deeps from time to time in the world. And by potato, I mean I would get 8 per and 25 man with bloodlust going. I decided to transfer a faction change my warrior and bring him out of retirement. In no time, I was able to tank 10-man ICC with no problem. I met the GM and his wife of a guild and helped them get raiding. And this is where I come across Lab Kitty. We started out as friends and ended up staying up until 5 or 6 a.m. talking. And from there, a romance blossomed. Do, 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 do. I believe in e-romance. At this time, my friend's guild was falling apart, so I ended up moving Toons into her guild. The GM and his wife put me in charge of the raid team, which I then led to the guild first Lich King kill on 10 and 25. I would DPS on 25 with my warrior with Shadow's Edge and would still top the DPS. I turned down an invite to a very, very good guild on my shaman because I was because when I brought it up to Lab Kitty, she started crying to me, weeping openly over Ventrilo about me leaving the realm and her. When Blizzard decided to turn the 10 and 25 raid IDs, combine my raid team, even though we were planning through Heroic ICC, they attempted to turn into the team who got people the Kingslayer titles, and that's all they did. I had a huge problem with this and decided to make my own guild for Kata. This woman, this beauty, Lab Kitty, her friend, Hybrid Girl. Oh, Hybrid Girl's a guy. Hybrid Girl and his cousin all joined my new guild. And we worked together to build the guild. During Kata, we had a bit of a rocky start, but eventually we found our feet. Except the times while explaining a fight, they would suddenly stop listening and start talking over me. So for payback, I made them work on Alakia until we killed the boss, which was over 100 attempts before we moved to kill Cho'Gall and Nefarian. When Firelands was... That's a fucking awful, 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 awful thing to do. Man, Alakia was so boring. So fucking boring. Oh my god. Oh god, fucking Alakia. Firelands came. When it finally released, we had some members leave, and I had to turn my prop warrior and put him back on the shelf and bring in my shaman to heal. It was this time the problems with me and Lab Kitty started. We would talk on her way home from work, and she would get a call and never call me back. Oh. Looking back, I was so fucking stupid not to see it. But she was getting my rocks off, and so I was an idiot and blind to what was really going on. Lab Kitty started talking to me on the phone less and less. And when Dragon Soul released, we were raiding on all cylinders, getting a heroic Morchok, heroic Zonos, and heroic Yorsage kills before nerfs. Then it got worse. While doing progression on heroic Blackhand in WoD, we started arguing a lot, and I noticed one of the guildies and her started spending a lot of time together. And I tried to confront her of this. She always told me to think nothing of it. Nothing was going on romantically. We were only friends. We enjoy playing WoW together. One day she asked me if I could just jump into Ventrilo for a chat. And of course it was to tell me that there was someone else. The bitch cheated and lied to me, and then decided to tell me the truth over Ventrilo. Not even a phone call! During my last raid, I didn't feel like raiding at all. I felt like being done with everything. And I mean everything. So I logged off, decided to confront her, and finally asked, why have you done this to me? She never bothered to reply. The next day when I logged in, every single one of my characters was out of the guild. I put in a ticket to a GM, and the GM said I had given her the guild master of my guild. Turns out she'd logged my account. Of course we shared it. Gave herself the GM title, and kicked all my characters. I didn't want to say I'd been account sharing to a GM, so I quit WoW. I ended up hospitalized eventually, from drinking. I came back to Warcraft sometime into Miss, and I found out later that the guild I was solo healing heroic Ultraxian to the guild couldn't even kill heroic Morchok the week after I left. I realise now that I was a dumbass, but I guess I had the last laugh with what happened to that guild, which I would suggest everyone stay away from. And I ended up meeting an amazing person, and I'm currently starting a guild back up for Legion. So I must say the worst thing happening ended up having me move to Wyrmrest Accord, be with a wonderful lady who I can never be without and who makes me happy. Ultimately, a sad time turned into something happy. Yeah, alcohol poisoning came out of nowhere, right? Hey guys, Athene here. Why is Athene emailing me? Oh, okay. That's that moment when you check your email and it's Athene. Okay. What have we got left? Like 10 minutes. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Mount farming is serious business. Sounds good. Sounds good. I know. Well, I have to show you this. It's not just a tag. He sends his email now that way. Look. It's just like me titling my emails Hollowballers. Every work email I send starts with Hollowballers. Gamingforgood.net. Ooh. I'll read that later. Could be something good. Might not be. Who knows? I'll find out. That's probably... Okay, there's a screenshot with this. Let me see what happens when I do this. I'm sure it won't spoil the screenshot. Oh, it's a mount. I don't know what mount it is. So, I'll tell you now, because it might be a bit of fun for those of you who are into mounts. He sent me a picture of him getting the mount, so I assume we're going to get a mount in this story. I don't know what mount it is. It's purple dragon thing. So, I don't know. Maybe I have it. I don't even know. I have no idea. Alright then. Mount Farming is serious business. We need 2 names. Let's go quick. Okay, I've got like 8 minutes before I have to pick up my kids. So, a male warlock and a male druid. So we need some men. We need some mount men. Everyone's going to go wild now trying to pick a purple dragon. Bretty. And last name, somebody purple. Blimp Lizkit. Oh god, I'm going to fuck that up so much. Blimp Lizkit. Blimp Lizkit. Lovely name though. Blimp Lizkit. Blimp Lizkit. Okay. Gotta give me a roll. Gotta give me a roll. That's more of a web show name, come blood. More of a web show name. The web show is tomorrow, by the way, so bear that in mind. Alright, Mount Farming is serious business. I don't know what happens here. It could be a terrible story. I have no idea. Hello, Preacher & Co. I've got a short story from Team Australia, again, for you, and all about rare mount camping. Amazing look and rage for days. You'll need 2 names. We've chosen them. My short story begins in the second half of MOP. Ever since Vanilla, edgy, I've been a collector of everything. Tabards, mounts, things we would now call toys, and other little bits and pieces and trinkets and whatnot. Towards the end of Mists of Pandaria, I exhausted all but the most grindy and difficult to achieve content of the game. Like in all other expansions, when I ran out of current content to do, I began to go back through the old expansions, hoping to get lucky with the usual big names like Invincible or the Blue Proto-Drake. On one such day, I'd mustered up the willpower to subject myself to the grind of repeated speedruns through the old Kata dungeon Stonecore for a chance at the Drake from the second boss. After 30 minutes of it, I'd killed the second boss for just the 5-time kill, and unsurprisingly, it hadn't dropped. Ha! Having had enough for the time being, after spending several hours before farming other mounts with similar success, I left that dungeon with my head hung low in defeat. Ah, isn't the rarest mount in game still the camel thing? I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not a mount farmer, but I thought the camel was still the mega rarest. The WCW champion. However, as I exited the dungeon and Deepholm loaded in front of me, my NPC scan started jerking off all over my face. It said, I'm going to say this wrong. It said that Ionax, I've never heard of this mount in my entire life. Ionax? It said that Ionax, the Kata equivalent of the Time Lost Proto-Drake. No bullshit. Never heard that name in my life. Never heard that in my fucking life. Was nearby. At first I didn't believe it. People camp this area, even on my dead backwater realm, 24/7 for this mountain. It couldn't be right. However, my disbelief proved to be unfounded. As the last bits of the world loaded around me, there, right in front of the Stonecore portal, was Ionax flying by. I wasted no time, mounted up and made a beeline for it and jumped on its back, humped that bitch into submission. Acting quickly, not knowing how this unusual encounter was supposed to go, I panicked. This wasn't like a normal rare mob that you target and kill with your abilities. I had to ride it. But what do I do? Do you really do this? This sounds cool. I spammed Hellfire and saw it doing damage, realizing I had to actually kill Ionax while riding him. I targeted him and began unloading my sexy, sweet testicular fortitude all over its back. Being stuck in the air as a demonology warlock, I was at a disadvantage. Without my Felguard or my imps, I didn't let that stop me. And soon enough, Aenax died and fell to the ground. Cancelling the parachute that got given to me as I dropped off his back, I demonic leap and meteor dropped down onto his corpse like fucking Iron Man. Boom. Almost quivering from the adrenaline like a clitoris on cocaine, and the disbelief of my amazing good luck. One of the mounts, along with the time-lost proto-drake I had simply written off as something I would never simply get, was now mine. It also drops the time-lost proto-drake? What? Hax mount, and I've never heard of it. My glee and joy were broken, however, when I received a whisper a few seconds after looting the kill. A night elf druid named Bretty whispered me, exploding in a fit of rage. You fucking bastard! I've been camping him for 12 hours! How did you get him? Where did it come from? I said nothing to him. I don't owe you an answer, I thought, since it was the case of first come, first fucking served. But I felt bad. 12 hours is a long time, so I sent a whisper back. Sorry, bro. Better luck next time. But it wasn't enough for him. He decided he didn't accept this lightly and instead continued to fuck off, dude. This was mine and you fucking know it. I tried to be polite about it, but that's the response I got. I wasn't going to bother. I half back to Shrine and went AFK to get a drink, pleased with my results of the day and my new fanboy. When I came back, though, I found that the druid was flooding me with his ranting tirade of abuse, accusing me of being a ninja and how much of an asshole I was. Apparently, having got sick of the fact I hadn't even bothered to reply, he had taken it to the trade chat and was now in a heated argument with several other people that weren't me. Fuck Blimplis bit, they said. He didn't deserve it. You should kick him out of your guild. He's obviously a ninja. At this point, I realised that Bretty was in my guild. While some agree I shouldn't have got it, I just sat on the balcony outside the shrine with my new Drake and watched the whole thing going on. People were ripping him apart, saying his abused, unnecessary, childish arguments weren't going to get him the mount. Things like, dude, seriously, Bretty, he got there faster than you did. That's how it works. Go back camping. Bretty's response was aggressive. He wasn't having anyone question his logic that he had been ninjured. Fuck off, it was mine, I deserve it. Why don't you go and camp something for 12 hours and then have some arsehole come in at the last minute and steal it and see how you feel? I watched this go back and forth for 15 minutes until finally it looked like it had begun to fizzle out. Bretty left with the final fuck all you assholes and then whispered me saying fuck you asshole, and then he logged off. At that point from memory I went and occupied myself with archaeology, trying to get the last few pristine artifacts I needed for the achieves. Several whispers came in. I either put them on ignore if they were hostile or just said nothing if they weren't. I'd learnt my lesson that it's better to ignore than to carry it on. Still, go away it did not. The next day when I got up to check my auctions and chat with friends, people were still going on about it in trade chat. And Bretty was still going on about it and complaining about me. I couldn't believe it. 16 hours later, it was still happening. One of my closest WoW friends whispered me and asked what the fuck was going on. I explained, and my friend was laughing. I'm not sure whatever happened to Bretty. However, there were many mentions of his little outburst until about a week later. To the best of my knowledge, Bretty could still be in Deepholm, still camping Aenax. I like to think that he got the mount. Or maybe he's just still there. I guess we'll never know. I will leave you a screenshot of my garrison stables, including the phosphorescent stone drake that caused all of this right behind me, to share with your viewers. Aww. Poor Bretty. Maybe he is still there. Has anybody checked? Ooh. Boring. I'm not into mounts. I'm joking. Congrats. Cry more, die more. He's still there. Legend has it that he's still there. Sat waiting. Yeah, it looks like a boring mount to me, but I guess it's just the rarity that makes it interesting. Thank you for watching Drama Friday. You lovely, 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 lovely people. Thank you so much. It's web show tomorrow. It's web show tomorrow, which will all be going on. It's not the it's not the Halloween one. Boo! Boo and a hiss. Well, there is a web show tomorrow with me and Mr. Ghosty. I'll be sure to oil my chair. I promise. I promise I will do. Thank you to everybody who subbed, etc. during the show. Sorry, I can't really pay attention to it while I'm doing the story. I am back tomorrow. I'm back tomorrow, so I'll see you then. All right? Thank you so much. Goodbye.